Welcome to the 5-Minute Mysteries podcast from 5minutemysteries.com, where every week we take a look at a mysterious disappearance, object, place, or other mystery in about 5 minutes. Episode 2: The Mystery of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most perplexing and chilling mysteries of the 20th century, a tragic event that continues to baffle experts and inspire speculation. In the winter of 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers set out on a trek through the Ural Mountains in the Soviet Union, only for all of them to perish under mysterious circumstances. The discovery of their bodies, and the strange and inexplicable injuries they sustained, has led to a myriad of theories, but the truth of what happened on that fateful expedition may never be fully understood. The story begins in late January 1959, when 10 students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, embarked on a skiing expedition across the northern Ural Mountains. The group, consisting of 8 men and 2 women, was well prepared for the journey, having considerable experience in long-distance ski tours and mountain expeditions. Their goal was to reach Otorten, a mountain about 10 kilometers north of the site, where the incident would later occur. On the 27th of January, the group began their trek from the settlement of Vijay, the last inhabited location before the wilderness. The following day, one of the members, Yuri Yudin, was forced to turn back due to illness, leaving 9 members to continue the journey. Yudin's decision to leave the expedition would ultimately save his life, as he became the only survivor of the ill-fated group. The remaining hikers continued their journey, documenting their progress with photographs and diary entries. On the 31st of January, they reached a highland area and prepared to climb a nearby pass. However, due to worsening weather conditions, heavy snow, strong winds, and decreasing visibility, they lost their way and deviated westward, eventually ending up on the slope of Kolat-Syakhl, a mountain whose name translates to Dead Mountain in the language of the indigenous Mansi people. Realizing their mistake, the group decided to set up camp on the exposed slope rather than move downhill to a more sheltered location, perhaps hoping to avoid losing the altitude they had gained. This decision would prove to be fatal. When the group failed to return as scheduled, a search and rescue operation was launched on the 20th of February. On the 26th of February, searchers found the hikers' abandoned tent on Kolat-Syakhl. The tent was half collapsed, covered in snow, and had been cut open from the inside, as if the occupants had fled in a panic. Inside the tent, searchers found the group's belongings, including clothing, footwear, and personal items, suggesting that they had left in a hurry, some without even taking the time to dress properly for the freezing conditions. The search team followed the tracks leading downhill from the tent and, about 500 meters away, discovered the first 2 bodies, those of Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko, near the edge of a forest. Both were barefoot and dressed only in their underwear, a condition that could be explained by paradoxical undressing, a phenomenon sometimes observed in cases of severe hypothermia. Nearby, under a large cedar tree, the remains of a small fire were found, along with broken branches up to 5 meters high, as if one of the hikers had climbed the tree, possibly in a desperate attempt to spot the camp or escape from something. Over the next few days, 3 more bodies were found between the forest and the camp, including that of the leader, Igor Dyatlov. These individuals appeared to be attempting to return to the tent when they succumbed to the elements. The positions of the bodies suggested that they had been crawling or stumbling through the snow. All 5 of these initial bodies were determined to have died from hypothermia, with no significant external injuries. It was not until 2 months later, on the 4th of May, that the remaining 4 hikers were discovered in a ravine further into the forest, buried under several meters of snow. These bodies presented a far more disturbing mystery. Unlike the others, they had suffered severe internal injuries. Nikolai Thibault-Brignol had major skull fractures, and Lyudmila Dubinina and Semyon Zolotaryov had significant chest fractures, with injuries described as similar to those caused by a car crash. Dubinina was also found with her tongue, eyes, and part of her lips missing, which added to the horror of the scene. Despite these grievous injuries, there were no external wounds or signs of a struggle, leading investigators to question what force could have caused such damage. The official investigation, led by Soviet authorities, concluded in May 1959, with the cause of death for the hikers listed as a compelling natural force. However, the vagueness of this explanation did little to satisfy the public, and the incident has since given rise to countless theories, ranging from the plausible to the bizarre. One of the most popular theories is that the group was caught in an avalanche, which forced them to cut their way out of the tent and flee in the middle of the night. The pressure from the snow could explain the severe internal injuries found on some of the bodies, though critics argue that the area showed no signs of an avalanche, and the tent itself was not buried as one would expect. Another theory suggests that the hikers encountered a military test, possibly involving secret weapons or parachute mines, which could account for the strange injuries and the panic that caused them to flee the tent. Supporters of this theory point to the presence of high levels of radiation found on some of the hikers' clothing, and the testimony of other hikers who reported seeing strange orange orbs in the sky around the time of the incident. More speculative explanations include an encounter with extraterrestrial beings, a Yeti attack, or even a case of infrasound-induced panic, a rare natural phenomenon where specific wind conditions can create sound waves that induce feelings of unease and terror, leading to irrational behavior. Despite extensive research and numerous expeditions to the site, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains unsolved. The Russian government reopened the investigation in 2019, but the results, which leaned towards an avalanche theory, have not quelled the debate. The combination of the mysterious injuries, the unexplained behavior of the hikers, and the enduring enigma of what exactly happened on that desolate mountain slope continue to captivate and mystify those who seek to understand the events of that cold February night in 1959. The Dyatlov Pass incident stands as a haunting reminder of the power and unpredictability of nature, as well as the limits of human understanding when confronted with the unknown. The tragedy of the 9 young lives lost in the Ural Mountains is a story that remains etched in the annals of history, a mystery that, despite the passage of time, refuses to relinquish its secrets. I hope you enjoyed that episode of the 5-Minute Mysteries podcast from 5minutemysteries.com. If you get a chance, please leave a review wherever you get your podcasts, as it will help us to grow. Also, why not check out our other 5-minute podcasts, 5-Minute Biographies, 5-Minute History, and 5-Minute Murder. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.